Okay, so we've covered the minigames of Mario Party 8, but how exactly are the boards in this game? As far as the Wii's motion controls are concerned, the biggest implementation was used in those games. And while there are instances where you have to flick the Wiimote to roll a dice or throw a dart to a dartboard, the heavy use of the motion controls were only used in the minigames specifically. So this means the developers spent a lot of time working hard on developing the boards and making them extremely original and enjoyable, right? Right? Well, again, while Mario Party 8 isn't the biggest felon of drastically changing the gameplay of Mario Party, it does go a step further than Mario Party 6 and 7 does, which is on the whole something I am not a fan of, but I am willing to give credit where it is due. You'll see what I'm talking about when this list is over. As for other mentionables, one thing I will say is that I really love the candy item system in this game. All of the items are really creative in design and function, and I feel like that might be the best item system in a Mario Party game. But as far as the actual boards are concerned, let's just go ahead and get started. Number 6. King Boo's Haunted Hideaway. I bet some of you guys were expecting another board for my last place position and after how the last two lists have gone, but I can't overlook the travesty that is King Boo's Haunted Hideaway, probably my candidate for worst board in the entire Mario Party series. Why is this board such a travesty compared to others? The entire nature of the board is completely random. When you start a game, you have no idea how the board is set, what spaces are where, and most importantly, what rooms have stars. There are various paths that lead to different rooms, and at the end of each path is an empty room. Most of these empty rooms are traps that will take you back to the beginning, while there are a few rooms that will contain stars. Once all the rooms have been investigated, King Boo will take everybody out of the mansion and pull the old switcheroo, completely changing the entire foundation of the mansion itself, which means once again you have to go on a wild goose chase for the star. You also can't use the map to help you unless you've explored certain rooms and hallways already, so you are quite literally in the dark from the moment you start. I don't know what it is, but this board has seriously never really done much for me. Some could look at this board and find the randomness exciting, but to me, I always see a massive frustration in never knowing what to expect, and getting screwed at the most pivotal moments. There's a lot more I could say, but I think my playthrough of Mario Party 8 could say a lot more than I can about this subject. This is just not a fun board to play for me, and I'll take a star-stealing mechanic over this any day. Speaking of which... Number 5. Bowser's Warped Orbit. Oh my god, why did they do this again? Ugh. Anyway, welcome to the exciting wrap-up for Star Stealing Trilogy, that is Snowflake Lake, Pyramid Park, and now Bowser's Warped Orbit. Once again, in this board you start with stars, and the only way to get stars yourself is by stealing from other players. This time, however, chain chomps are not your fuel, instead you use personalized candies that are only available on this board. Bullet Bill Candy and Bowser Candy. Bullet Bill Candy are candies that turn the player into a vicious Bullet Bill that will zoom across the board and steal a star from any player in their way. They have a very high movement, and with a huge board like this, that movement is absolutely necessary to succeed. The Bowser Candy gives you much less movement, but it does have the added bonus of being able to steal multiple stars as opposed to just one. So in other words, your goal for this board is to hoard up as many stars as possible, and then play keep away from all of your opponents. It's also probably the least inspired board as far as layout is concerned. The board looks pretty damn awesome, and it does give Bowser a new environment opposed to the magma lava caverns, but it's essentially a giant circle with alternating paths every now and then, but still pretty much a circle. I mean, one of the boards in this game is just a giant straight line forward, but at least it fits with the theme in that scenario. This is just kind of lazy. I give props for the idea of having board-specific candy, and I do think it's kind of cool, but on the whole, I'd honestly rather play the other star-stealing boards in Mario Party 6 and 7 opposed to this one. And seeing how those were in last place in their specific games, that's saying a lot. I do give kudos for at least trying something a little bit different though, but it doesn't make me hate the mechanic any less. Number 4. DK's Treetop Temple. Okay, I think it's time we go back to some classic Mario Party, yes? Well, as far as the traditional star warps around after every star claiming goes, this is Mario Party 8's only instance of it, which I'm willing to bet is a bit questionable for some of you guys who love the traditional style and think that anything new is too drastic. I surprisingly only rank this at number 4, but unlike the lower two offenders, I think Treetop Temple is miles ahead of number 5 and 6. The only reason it's really this low is just the fact that it's not as memorable as the other 3 boards that I've ranked higher. It's still a fun board and I don't mind playing it, but I don't think it really offers a whole lot either, at least in terms of offering something new. We've seen a jungle, we've been to the treetops, it's really just a combo of what we've seen before, and that's really all I have to say about this board.
You know, guys, being the winner of this contest that didn't even enter has given me a lot of perspective on life. You don't need to lift a finger to do anything. In fact, I don't think I even need my job anymore. Hey, boss. Hey, guess what? I don't need your job anymore. That's right, I quit. You can take that job and restaff it with one of your other brainless cronies. You hear me? You got that? Okay? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll talk to you later tonight. Love you too, Dad.
Number 3, Koopa's Tycoon Town. Windmillville in Mario Party 7 was unique. I enjoyed the concept despite it being radically different from what I expected from a Mario Party board. Koopa's Tycoon Town is a board that pretty much takes the same exact idea and makes it a whole lot better. Right off the bat, the first thing I'll say that in terms of design, this board is the best in Mario Party 8. The city landscape is perfect, and playing on this board really puts me in a familiar atmosphere, especially after going to events like PAX East in Boston, and just walking around the streets of Chicago with my friends during our trips there. So for those who need a refresher, the goal of this board is investing. You put coins, as many as you want, into hotels, and whoever has the most money in a hotel will have a number of stars equal to what that hotel is worth. If someone else bets more money than you do, they will actually get those stars instead, and you'll lose them. So you need to invest smart and really pay attention to who owns what hotel, and stay pretty relevant in terms of how much you donate to each building. Over time, certain hotels will upgrade based on how many coins have been deposited, so there are times where you definitely want to be the top dog and make sure it stays that way. Otherwise, continue to pay attention to where your biggest stakes are, and most importantly, don't let anyone get too far ahead. Overall, just a very intriguing and fun board to play on every now and then. Number 2, Goomba's Booty Boardwalk. So on first glance, Goomba's Booty Boardwalk might look a bit stale, but to me, I don't see it as just one giant linear path forward. I see it as a living tribute to all of those favorite board games of mine growing up, where you try to make it all the way to the end first before your opponents do, using board events to jump ahead, or doing everything in your power to avoid being sent back. Now, thankfully the game doesn't end if just one person gets to the end. That person will have an opportunity to buy a star, and then they get sent back to the very beginning to take the course again, but the feeling of speeding to the end is still present as you want to get as many stars as possible. I think one of the greatest feelings of this board is obtaining a bolo candy and then just using it to completely roll over your opponents in front of you. And the board events are also really fun and creative, whether it's riding a dolphin or, for all of you Mario Sunshine fans out there, being tossed by a chuckster. So yeah, it may not be the most thrilling or nail-biting board in the game, but it's one where I always seem to have a good time no matter the scenario. And that's an experience that just can't be topped. Well, with exception of my number 1 choice. Number 1, Shy Guy's Perplex Express. Several people predicted this one to be my favorite board during speculation comments at the end of Mario Party 7. And although I much prefer to surprise you guys, I think this just speaks volumes for how much fun this board actually is to play. This board is very familiar in idea to Booty Boardwalk, although the path to the star is much shorter and you don't get it automatically taken back to the beginning after you get a star. As you can see, this journey takes place in a train, and you start at the back, make your way to the front to get a star from the conductor, and then move along the top of the train as you get back to the beginning again. I think the thing that really makes this board as fun as it is to play are the board events. Each car contains a special event of some kind. Some spaces will let you switch from the top of the car to the bottom, and vice versa. And Bowser and DK have a pretty strong effect on the star position, as they quite literally hijack the train and either force you to hand over a star if it's Bowser, or give you a star for free if it's DK. These events make you want to pay special attention to all the things going on, where specific characters and events are located, and finding ways to make things work out to your advantage, and that is what I really like about this board. One of my favorite events is when a bad guy steals something from Holly Koopa, a wealthy Koopa lady riding in the train, and he must figure out what car the bad guy is riding in. Something that can be easily done if you were paying attention early on, and something that I think is fairly nice being rewarded for. With awesome board events and chances for some nice instances of strategy and competition, Perplex Express is my favorite board in Mario Party 8.
You know what, guys? I'm tired of sitting here like a chump trying to find stupid ways to amuse myself. I'm going to actually go out and have some action and adventure for once. I only have one more list left before I'm done with the series, and I don't even have Mario Party 10 yet. So you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to purchase Mario Party 10, and I'm going to do it right now. Oh, hey Dad. Did I have my job back?
Okay, well that's it for the list this week, which means we only have one more to go before we are finished with this series. I'm not really sure how Mario Party 9 will end up, or how long it'll take to look at or review everything. If anything, it could even take less time, but that's the next goal, and after that, we'll be done. I know you guys are wondering about Mario Party 10 as far as this series goes, and how that factors into everything, but I'll let you guys know my stance on that in the next videos. Thanks for joining me, and have a good day. Later, folks.
Who can make a sunrise? Sprinkle it with dew. Can't believe one of them hit my head.